Hello, Leon Turetsky coming to you here for backintelligence.com, where our mission is to help you correct your posture as well as help you ease your back pain from home. And today I'm going to give you 7 hip hinging exercises. Now, I've already done a video before on our YouTube channel called How to Hip Hinge. So if you're looking for the basic fundamentals, you can check out that video. But in this one, I'm going to be giving you 7 hip hinge exercises. Some of them are going to be with weights, some of them are going to be without weight, but basically this is so that you can increase your capacity, so you can strengthen the muscles that will help you to hip hinge in everyday activities. So if you're not sure why you need to hip hinge, I mean, this is the movement that you need to be doing throughout your life in all activities like loading the dishes, picking up your kids, picking up boxes or any kind of objects off the floor, all that kind of stuff. That's where you're going to be utilizing hip hinging techniques. It is going to spare your back, and it's going to promote good posture and good form for picking things up, putting things down, and stuff like that. So especially to protect your low back, you really need to do hip hinging exercises and movements. So let's get started right away. So the first hip hinge exercise is just a simple squat, okay? So simple squat is going to already get you into hip hinging correctly, yeah? So I'm just gonna hold my hands here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about my hips going back, okay? And that's the whole point of we're going to be hinging from our hips. Instead of the knees going forward like this is wrong. Yeah, this is not hip hinging. Hip hinging would be where my butt goes back and I stay in a neutral spine position. I'm not overly arching. I'm not rounding either, okay? So the simplest way I teach this, how to squat properly, is take your palms here on the hip, where the hip crease is, and then kind of help yourself to start hinging at the hips. You will see your upper body will start going forward, but it only goes forward as much as your hips go back, okay? So you don't want to do this either, just going forward with your top, okay? So anyway, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to squat here. I've done a video about squatting already, so you can check it out. So I'm not going to spend time on here. But this is the first exercise to hip hinge. So think about your butt going back. Turn out your knees out, so your knees don't cave in. And you can see your spine should be neutral. So you're going to squat. This is the most basic fundamental hip hinge exercise that you should start working with. When you've done it and you feel comfortable with it, let's add some weight to it. So we're going to do a goblet squat. I've already demonstrated this one as well. I've done a video on the goblet squat. So take it right here, brace your core. And by the way, it doesn't have to be a kettlebell, it can just be a dumbbell, okay? So I'm using a kettlebell, but you can use just a regular dumbbell to hold it as well. Again, you're going to be bracing your core, stabilizing your shoulders, locking everything here in the trunk, chin tucked in, and then again, you're going to be hinging on your hips. So think about your hips going back, knees turn out so that they don't cave in, and you can hold it here for 1, 2, 3 at the bottom, and then push through the knees, and then push the hips forward here at the end. So again, you're going to go down and then push your hips forward. So you're going to squeeze your glutes at the end of this movement. So again, you can hold here and then push through. All right, that's the second exercise. I'm going to move on to the third exercise, which is going to be single leg squat or single leg deadlift, really is what it is. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm on one leg, and I'm just going to hip hinge through my one leg in this case. Again, you can see that I'm not doing this. See, this is me just lowering down, and I'm not hinging at all. So you want to hip hinge, okay? You can bring your arms in front like this, just hold it for balance, and then you're going to now use your knee and then push the hip forward at the end of it, okay? And what helps with balance is turning out your knee and then push through and hip hinge, push through. By the way, for balance, you can also tap your foot. So you could tap your foot. I'll do it this way. Again, hip hinge. And then you can tap here. You do need some bracing for this movement just to give you more stability. You don't need to overly brace. I'd say, you know, at least 20–30% bracing at your core to stabilize yourself is going to help. And then all the movement should really be happening, most of the movement should be happening from your hip, okay? And you can see how far you want to go. At the end, push through with your hip, squeeze your glute. Now, that's the third one. The fourth hip hinge exercise is a single leg deadlift using weight, okay? You can use a dumbbell or a kettlebell. So I'm gonna hold it in the opposite hand, okay? So same thing we just did, but now you have the weight, okay? So, because you have the weight, you need to make sure now you stabilize yourself even more through your trunk. So make sure, again, you squeeze your trunk, your core muscles, and now lock your shoulders. So kind of externally rotate your shoulder joint a little bit. Make sure that your shoulder doesn't just come up when you start doing the movement, that it's not loosey-goosey. Okay, so keep it down, press down your scapula, and keep it there. And again, the movement is about the hip hinge. That's 1, 2, 3. So let me do it here also. Again, lock everything down. Focus on bringing your hips through on the coming up part. By the way, for all of these, you can do about 10 to 15 reps, 2 to 3 sets, okay? So that's the fourth exercise. We're gonna move on now to Romanian deadlifts, okay? And I'll show you basically 3 variations of the Romanian deadlifts, okay? The first one is going to be using a bar. So you can have a bar just without weight. This one weighs about 10 pounds, so there's already some weights here. So that's the first thing, is just using a weight bar without weights, okay? And this is easiest to learn the movement first. So Romanian deadlifts, similar to a regular deadlift, except we're not gonna go all the way down. And it starts normally from a standing position. So we're gonna be right here, standing like this. And then again, you're hip hinging. So think about your hips going back. Your knees are gonna slightly bend as you lower. And then once you get to about, you know, where the bar is kind of in the mid-shin level, you're going to now use your knees, so press through your knees, and then bring your hips forward through, squeeze your glutes. Okay? Again, lock your shoulders down, externally rotate your shoulder blades, okay? Think about externally rotating your hands so you kind of feel like you're breaking the bar, okay? So that you can really engage your lats as well on this before even doing the movement. And now think about hip hinging. Okay, so my hips go back. You can see my head also is not doing this. It's not doing some weird stuff. Just keep your chin tucked in. You're engaging your hips, and now you're going to be using your legs and glutes to push through. Again, the point is to keep a neutral spinal position in all of these, okay? So if I do this, this is wrong, okay? So the point of hip hinging is we're practicing keeping in a neutral spinal position the entire time. And the most important thing is to keep good form. Now, that was the fifth exercise. We're going to go into the sixth exercise. That's just adding some weight to the bar. Using the magic of video editing, you should see weights at the end of my bar now. Okay, so it's the same exercise, yeah? Just you have more weight. Sometimes it actually helps because you feel a little more weight, so it's more solid. But again, it depends where you are and what's your capacity. So make sure you only put as much weight as you can handle, okay? Again, you want to externally rotate your shoulders, and then you're going to brace your core slightly, and then you're going to push your hips back, keeping neutral spine, hip hinging. Go down only as much as you can, and then use your knees and push through your hips. Okay? And one more time. So all my motion, most of my motion should be happening through my hips. Okay? Okay, and then the last exercise is going to be Romanian deadlifts with dumbbells. Okay? So just grab 2 dumbbells. I'll show you first, just facing you like this. Again, stand nice and tall. Brace your core. And then, as I'm hip hinging right now, my dumbbells just kind of stay in front of me. And then push through with the hips. And again. And let's do the side view. Same idea. Hip hinge. And push through. And again. And push through. And hip hinge. And push through. Okay, so that's the 7th exercise. Like I said, you can do about 10 to 15 reps, 2 to 3 sets for each. And yeah, these are great exercises to incorporate into your workout routines. You could do them at the gym or at home to build stronger posterior chain. Obviously, this exercise is going to be working all the hamstrings, glutes, and it's going to as well work your nervous system motor control for the hip hinging movement, so that when you're at home, this is very much transferable to what you're doing every single day. And this dumbbell is having its own life. All right, there we go. So yeah, try these exercises. Let me know in the comments which ones you like the best or which ones are working for you. And otherwise, be sure to check out also our website and our online courses. And if you'd like to get a free PDF of 6 core exercises that are very safe for your spine and very effective at strengthening your core area, we can provide that PDF completely free. There's going to be a link to get that PDF somewhere here on the video or down below in the description. Just go to that page, enter your email, and we'll send you that PDF right away.